I've been in the gym getting my level up. Fenders getting gas, so I mash on the pedal. What? The backboard I crash, slam the rock to a pebble. What? The breeze from the past will assist your irregular breathing. Handle got your ankle in your knee in a disagreement. Now your balance taking off for bereavement. They wanna know what I be cooking up, cause then they think we be even. But I know, look, dished it, so I never seen it now. Gym getting my level up. Fenders getting gas, so I mash on the pedal. What? The backboard I crash, slam the rock to a pebble. What? My team is the strongest and we crush the competitors. Game over!
The 2021 season of HBCU basketball was a roller coaster of cancellations, postponements, and empty gyms. But through it all, the players and coaches in the MEAC remained focused on one goal: cutting down the nets at the Norfolk Scope Arena and punching their ticket to the big dance. And entering the quarterfinal round of the tournament, it was seemingly anybody's conference to win, and with the North-South division split, it meant that some teams knew each other very well, and some hadn't played at all. Such was the case when the number 3 team in the North, Morgan State, faced off against the number 2 team in the South, FAMU. A matchup between MEAC first teamer MJ Randolph for FAMU and second team guard Deterion Ware from Morgan State. And it was Randolph and the Rattlers getting to the money early. Jalen Spear gets the nice take to the rim. MJ Randolph gets the pull-up jumper to fall off the screen. And after this little piece of mid-range work from Cameron Reeves, FAMU was up 8 with 8 minutes left in the first half. Rattler still striking. DJ Jones finds Bryce Morgan on the back door for the wholesome 2-hand finish. But Morgan State was back right quick with it though. The flashy Malik Miller up and under makes it a 6-point game. Then it's Malik Miller again. 2 points and a rebound all at the same time on the putback, and Morgan State cuts the lead to 4 with 4 minutes left in the half. Then it's MJ Randolph. That's a bucket. Jalen Spear through contact, and that's a grown man bucket plus a foul. Randolph again, this time playmaking for his teammate Bryce Morgan, who gets the mid-range jumper to fall, and we go into halftime with FAMU up 9, 39-30. But here comes Morgan from behind, literally on the Malik Miller pickpocket of MJ Randolph that leads to the Detorion Ware 3. And figuratively, because that FAMU lead was about to be a thing of the past. In the second half, Detorion Ware got hotter than a 75 Chevelle with a faulty radiator. He goes 4 for 6 from 3 and drops 21 points in the second half alone. This one puts Morgan State up 10 points with 8 minutes left in the game. But here come FAMU. The Rattlers get pressure in the backcourt, they get the steal, Cameron Reeves to MJ Randolph for the bucket, and the Morgan State lead is down to 5. Then it's Detorion Ware with the single scoop lay-in. Then it's the Rattlers with the steal and Jalen Spear with the lay. Here Detorion Ware gets the save. And MJ Randolph gets the bucket, and it's a 2-point Morgan State lead with a minute left to play in the game. Final possession of the game, Morgan State hits a free throw to go up by 2, FAMU inbounds with a chance to win. The ball finds its way to DJ Jones, who puts just a little bit too much on it, and Morgan State advances to the semifinals after a 77-75 win and a 35.6 rebound night from Detorion Ware. Next up for Morgan State is the always explosive crosstown rivalry between the other MEAC school from Baltimore, the tournament's top-seeded Coppin State Eagles.
I just think anyone can win at this time of the year, so we were fortunate today to pull it out at the end. We had to work some of the kinks out because we've been off for a few weeks. We know they're very talented. They got like 3 or 4 all-league players, and Tark is the player of the year. You know, the little guard Clayton is very good, and they got good players. They're well coached, and you know it's just going to be one of those games that we got to play tough and hard. We got to play hard for 40 minutes, and we got to be tough, and we got to make our shots.
I've been in the gym getting my level up. Fenders getting gas, so I mash on the pedal. What? The backboard I crash, slam the rock to a pebble. What? The breeze from the past will assist your irregular breathe.
The second quarterfinal matchup of Thursday night was a rematch of the last MEAC tournament final that was played in 2019. And it instantly became a semifinal after North Carolina A&T had to bow out of the tournament because of COVID protocol. And the last time Norfolk State and North Carolina Central met in this building, the Spartans were a few inches away from a game winner and had to watch the Eagles cut down the nets in their home city. And after almost 2 calendar years to ruminate on the loss, the Spartans and Eagles were back in the same building with a shot at going to the MEAC championship game on the line. The NCCU docuseries cameras were rolling, but Norfolk State was out to get it back in blood. The Spartans jump out to a 17-0 run to start the game. Devontae Carter gets the Euro off the glass. Joe Bryant Jr. from 3. The Norfolk bench going ham after an Eagle timeout. Then talking some smack after some good defense. The Eagles were scraping together as many buckets as they could. But it was all gas from the Spartans. Devontae Carter, no look. Naziah Chambers, too strong. He finishes through that little contact, no problem. Then it's Joe Bryant Jr. with the Harden-esque one-footed fadeaway, and Norfolk State is up 22 halfway through the first. Central getting it back right though. Devin Palmer straight to the basket for 2. Alex Caldwell hits the pull-up jumper, and bro was OD locked in on defense. CJ Kaiser gets the board, then he gets the bucket. NCCU feeling it during the timeout, and the Eagles have cut the lead down to 14. Final seconds of the half, Jordan Perkins with the drive and dish to Jameer Moultrie for 3, and the Eagles are down 11 going into the break. And while NCCU went into halftime with the juice, Norfolk State came out in the second up to no good. Joe Bryant Jr. with 18 second half points. He went 5 for 6 from 3, and bro was out there on one. He scored 11 in a row at one point in the half, and the Spartans were back up 20, and they weren't even done yet. Devontae Carter gives us an almost triple-double, and Norfolk State would lead by as many as 30, which is exactly how many points Joe Bryant Jr. scored en route to the 87-58 win over North Carolina Central. The Spartans make light work of the Eagles and will be waiting on the Morgan Coppin State winner in the championship game.
Hats off to North Carolina Central and Coach LaBelle Moden. Coach Moden, we talk frequently, so he's a good guy. I know he was a little pissed off at the end of the game, but I've been there, and I understand because he's got me in the scope the last 2 times, and we finally got him. So once again, they run a great program, and like we said to our guys, if you want to be the champ, you got to beat the champ, and they were the 3-time champs, and it was a war out there. So we played well and come up with it. Joe, he's played here before, high school and things like that. And I think that when we came here in 2019, he was only a freshman, so he had limited. He didn't check the game. So he had memories of the 2019 game, and he had a chip on his shoulder about, playing against Central. Honestly, they sent us home, and I think that no one forgot about that, especially with the tournament not happening last year. We knew the urgency. We knew that, we're 40 minutes away from possibly going to Indiana, and we got to take advantage of that.
I've been in the gym getting my level up. Fenders getting gas, so I mash on the pedal. What? The backboard I crash, slam the rock to a pebble. What? The breeze from the past will assist your irregular breathe.
No one needs any extra motivation during tournament time, especially when it's rival teams from the same city facing off for a spot in the championship game. Coppin State took home a slew of all-conference awards this season, mostly by the Tark brothers, Anthony and Nadai, who took home both the Player of the Year and the Defensive Player of the Year awards respectively. And after seeing Anthony Tark hit this one in pregame, it looked like he might have come into the scope with the hot hand. But Morgan State came in with the hottest player in the tournament in Datorian Ware, and the Bears and Eagles put on for the city with an exciting MEAC tournament showdown. And it was Coppin State looking like the top seed early. MEAC Rookie of the Year Nadai Tark with the cutter for the easing two. The boy Uado Locke put in work on the boards and in the bucket. He had 15 points and 10 boards in the first half. But Morgan State's Datorian Ware, he was still hot from yesterday. He gets a few big buckets of his own, and it's back and forth early. Anthony Tark with a nice finger roll off the screen and roll, Coppin up by 7 with 8 minutes left in the half. Then it's Tark to Tark. Anthony finds the dive for the bucket. Next, it's all MEAC first teamer DeJuan Clayton with the falling left-handed scoop layup, and Coppin State heads into the half up 9. But that ain't no thing for the Be More Bears. They trailed at the half against FAMU yesterday and came back, and they had the same intentions in the semifinal game against Coppin. Morgan State jumps out to a 13-2 run to open the half and retakes the lead. But here's Nadai Tark, the steal, the flush, and Coppin State say let us get that lead back up off you real quick. Then Datorian Ware cuts both the burners up on high and gets to cooking. He gets the cutter to the rim. That's a bucket plus a foul. Morgan up 10, 9 minutes left in the game. Here's another deep three. Then a bucket off the putback. Then a putback off his own miss, and Datorian Ware was elbow deep in his bag for the second night in a row. He goes for another 29 points, adds 15 boards and 4 assists to the stat line, and was out there looking like a whole tournament MVP. But it wasn't just Datorian Ware. The rest of the Bears were on that same energy, outscoring Coppin State 44-21 in the second half, locking up on D and only allowing Coppin to hit 2 of their final 13 shots. And Morgan State wins the Battle of Baltimore 82-61 and are off to the championship game to face a Norfolk State team that they know very, very well.
It's March Madness. I mean, you got to come and play. This is for all the marbles here. We're just thankful to have one more day. You live to see another day. We want to, show well tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be off to Indianapolis after tomorrow. It's not hard to get up for Coppin being at Morgan. It's what they call a rivalry. And we got out the gate a little slow, but, the second half we played a better second half than we did the first half. I want to take my hat off to Coppin, the regular season #1 seed. They had a great year. They got some very good players that did a lot of good things for them this year. It was a grind out, to the end. Our guys never gave up. We got down 9 at half. Like I told them, we did that last night. It was down 11 last night, 9 tonight. We can't keep doing that, especially going and playing who I think is probably the best team in the league, Norfolk, and I think they got one of the best coaches in the league, Rob Jones. So I respect them. Our guys respect them. They beat us 3 times, but it's a different time of the year. They have really good players. I mean, I respect their players as a team. I mean, Rob is a good friend. We talk all the time, and last night I said the same thing he said to me. I said to him last night, get the W. And when he got the W, he said, now it's your turn, get the W. Now I got to text him back and say, see you tomorrow.
I've been in the gym getting my level up. Fenders getting gas, so I mash on the pedal. What? The backboard I crash, slam the rock to a pebble. What? The breeze from the past will assist your irregular.
All the chips have been pushed into the middle of the table as Morgan State and Norfolk State go heads up for the MEAC championship and a trip to the tourney in Indianapolis. Joe Bryant Jr. and Detorian Ware have easily been the hottest players in the tournament, and both squads had a lot of heat on their names after big wins over good teams in the semifinals. Both schools were turned up before tip, and it was back and forth early in the first half. Joe Bryant Jr. gets the steal and goes for self right to the cup. Then it's Devontae Carter, the floater with the foul. That's a bucket and one. Detorian Ware, he got floaters in his package too. The teardrop gives Morgan the 4-point lead early in the half. Then it's Jalen Hawkins to Kashawn Hicks. In transition, the fundamental leg gives Norfolk a 2-point lead. Next is Mustafa Lawrence, the no-look to Isaiah Chambers for the finish. Now we back to Detorian Ware with the deep tray. Then the strong finish through contact, cutting the Norfolk lead down to 3, 26-23 with 6 minutes left in the half. But here's where the Spartans start to separate themselves from the Bears. Kashawn Hicks, behind the back to the rack. That's a bucket for Mr. Hicks. Then Devontae Carter finds Keontae Chavis in the corner for 3. And Norfolk goes into the break up 7. And coming out of the break, Joe Bryant Jr. went on another one of his signature do-it-all scoring spurts, dropping 10 points before the first media timeout of the half. The nice fall away in traffic is a bucket plus a foul. The reverse lay off the cutter gives Norfolk a 13-point lead early in the second, and the Spartans kept up that championship intensity for the rest of the game. This Isaiah Chambers flush takes the Norfolk lead to 16. Then it's Joe Bryant Jr. with the steal, and Devontae Carter finishes with the reverse lay. This time it's Devontae Carter with the steal and Jalen Hawkins with the acrobatic finish at the rim. But Morgan State just wasn't about to go outside. The Bears were scratching and clawing the whole way, even cutting the Norfolk lead down to 6 with 30 seconds left in the game. But Norfolk State just kept that gas pedal pressed to the floor. Kashawn Hicks gets not one, but 2 game-sealing dunks, and the Norfolk State Spartans get the 71-63 win, do some confetti angels, cut down the nets, and head off to the big dance as MEAC champions. Norfolk, Virginia native Joe Bryant Jr. wins the MVP after a 17-point performance in the championship game, and for Norfolk, their upset of Missouri in 2012, coupled with some big wins early in the year, means they won't be slept on by anyone they face during March Madness.
Well, we knew Morgan wasn't going to go away. We felt all year, and Coach Rose is a good friend of mine. We said all year that we thought that we were the 2 best teams in the league, and we showed it tonight. We had both of us had great non-conference showings, and we had good conference showings. The thing with us, being 8-4, we all just kind of beat up on each other up in the North, honestly. So we just felt all year we were the 2 best teams, and we showed up at a championship game, and it was just a dogfight the whole time. They didn't go away. We went up, I think, 13, 14. They cut it back down to 9. We knew they weren't going to go away. We watched the film from their first 2 games. They were down at halftime both games, and then they came back and won. And we just said this is not going to be the 3rd game in a row. So we talk about it all the time. Just talk about trying to be, make your own history. Of course, it's a great time in Norfolk State history, but this year, even though we was in divisions, we're the first team to win a regular season title and a conference title. We talk about that all year. To be the first to do it, and these guys, the 2021 team, was the first to do it. So it's like history just alone in that regard. It's time for us to go out to Indiana and buckle it down and try to make some points for some more members of Housel and Norfolk State, basketball. I mean, Joe Bryant played well. Devontae Carter playing well all year. Those two guys are our leaders. They were. Joe was preseason second team. I think during this tournament, he showed he was preseason. He should have been first team. Honestly, he came up and stepped up big. He's an awful guy, so he did it for the city and of course did it for us. So those two guys. Kashawn Hicks has always been an enigma for us. When Kashawn plays well, we usually have a good chance because he stretches the floor. He can really shoot the basketball. So those three guys really do well. And I'm just so happy for them. I've been telling them about the NCAA tournament forever. They probably won't experience the same NCAA tournament that I experienced in 2012 with the fans and everything. But I just we're excited alone just to get on a charter plane. We haven't got a charter plane since 2012. All those commercial connections, two connections and stuff like that. So this is going to be a good experience for them. We're not going to be able to sleep for anybody this time around like we did last time. But now, after that Missouri win, after the Alabama win, after just a consistent win program, nobody's sleeping on Norfolk State anymore. So now we really got to play basketball. No matter if we play in the playing game or we go play, Gonzaga or whoever we're going to play, they're not going to sleep on Norfolk State like maybe Missouri did. I mean, there's a big right on HBCU this year due to a lot of different reasons. And I think I can't say we hold a bigger responsibility to represent, but I do think there's going to be a big spotlight on us to do well and to continue to show that we can do well. Next time we play, obviously it's going to be an out-of-conference game, and we just got to show our out-of-conference moxie, and we did that this year early, and we just got to kind of just get back to it and get ready to play whoever we play on selections, get called to play. So the playing game is now called the first round, so that's the first round of the tournament. You still get the same unit financially, so who cares, honestly? I mean, and then whoever you play, you're going to play an opponent that looks just like you, so therefore you can beat them and now your stay is longer. So, I mean, and now that you get another unit, so now the school is happy, they get $3 million or whatever it is. We're happy because we stay a little longer, so who cares about that playing game? I'm happy to be there, so I don't know what to tell them.
I've been in the gym getting my level up. Fenders getting gas, so I mash on the pedal. What? The backboard I crash, slam the rock to a pebble. What? The breeze from the past.